What's going on, guys? I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World, the Black Business School. I'm popping in really quick right now. Not going to be on here long, but I wanted to kind of have a conversation with you real quick about something that was on my mind and something that I hope can help you once you have it in your mind. As you know, one of the things I firmly believe is that in order for the Black empire to rise, in order for Black people to take our rightful place on the throne, we're going to have to do some hard work. We're going to have some hard conversations. We're going to have to change our culture, and we're going to have to confront culture that is not productive for the purposes of us becoming who we really are. Like in the movie Black Panther, when she said, "Tell them who you really are," right? That kind of got him going. Well, the thing is, I say to Black people, let's start telling people who we really are, so that we can really claim our position, at the top of the pile. Anyway, let me say this very quickly. If you haven't taken the time to have economic conversations in your family, I encourage you to do that. I encourage you to remember that families that talk about economics tend to be in a good economic position. If you're not talking about it, then you probably won't be about it. It's like I don't spend a lot of time talking about how to make a good gangster rap album, which means I'll probably never be a rapper, right? I'll never make money as an artist. And let me fix this phone here real quick. Anyway, so as we kind of move forward, I want to encourage you to talk to your relatives and to your loved ones about your economic situation, and to figure out ways you can work together to become economically strong together. Now I don't know what happened. Oh, wow, my phone just did a complete reboot. Oh well. Anyway, all right. So let's get it started. Let me go ahead and break this down for you. Okay. So one of the things that one of the things I really want people to kind of also understand is, this little thing that people don't talk about, much. I think in our community, I think that these conversations should be had more often. It's about this thing called consistency. Let me give you an example. I talked to somebody not too long ago, and she's basically a person trying to build a brand. She's doing what a lot of people are doing on the internet. She's trying to, get herself out there, get herself, known, so that she can eventually monetize that and have an opportunity to, make some money, right? So she said to me, Boyce, I don't understand what's going on. She told me her background. I think she was a lawyer or something like that. And she, has been doing this for a while, for many, many years. And I said, yeah, I know. I'm a fan of yours. I actually like what you do. I respect you a lot for what you do. And she said, I can't understand why I can't get off the ground. And I said, okay, so I got a question. Do you want me to tell you the truth, or do you want me to lie to you? And she said, she kind of laughed, and she said, I want you to tell me the truth. And I said, okay, you sure? And she said, yeah. And I said, well, the reason that it doesn't surprise me that your stuff hasn't taken off. And she said, well, what do you mean? You don't think I know enough, or I'm not good enough? I said, no, you're very good, and you're quite knowledgeable. I know a lot of Black people with really strong resumes. I said, your big problem is that you're not consistent. I said, what I've noticed that you do is, you come in and you kick butt, and you're very, you're really in it when you're in it, and you do a great job when you're in it. And then what will happen is you'll get distracted. Something will happen. I don't know, it could be whatever, something with your family, your health, your job, or whatever, and you'll get sucked away. And then next thing you know, I don't see you for the longest time. And what happens then is you lose all your momentum. Everything that you built, all the audience trust that you built, all the people that started following you, all the people that are now checking for you, can't find you. They can't find you because you're nowhere to be found. You're off doing whatever. And I said, one of the things you got to realize is that empires can't be built without consistency. The empire, you can't build an empire with consistency. An empire is an institution. Institutions are built with maybe wood or bricks or something like that, right? And imagine if you're trying to build a building, and when you build that building, some of the bricks work and some of the bricks don't work. What's going to happen? That building's going to fall apart. Or imagine if you have all the bricks scattered, they're not all in the same place. You got some bricks on the south side of Chicago, some bricks on the north side of Chicago, some bricks up in Milwaukee. Can you build a building like that? Can you build an institution like that? When all your bricks are scattered all over the city, some of them work, some of them don't, some of them are there, some of them are not. But you have an inconsistent layout of all your bricks, and all the fundamental building blocks of that institution are not on the same page. They're kind of all over the place. Can you build a building like that? Obviously, the answer is no. Obviously, the answer is no. You can't build a building when the bricks are inconsistent. So I said, your number one problem is that your business isn't going to go anywhere as long as you're not completely devoted to what it is you're trying to do. Now, I'm not trying to say you have to give your whole life to it. I'm not saying that at all. It could be an hour a day, but you better give that hour. You better give that hour every day, like your life depending on it. You better be consistent. It could be twice a week. You better make sure you're showing up twice a week. Now, you're not going to get the same results that you would get if you did it every day, but I mean, whatever. It has to be consistent. Whether your building's made out of bricks, it must be consistent. Whether it's made out of wood, it must be consistent. Whether it's made out of styrofoam, it must be consistent. No matter how you build your institution, no matter how much time you put into it, how much money, whatever, you must be consistent. Building a business, also, another analogy that I think you guys can understand is this. It's like raising a child. Now, imagine if somebody, made a baby, and they say, oh, look at me, I'm a parent, and I'm gonna raise this baby to the age of 18. And let's say that they make the baby, and they're feeding the baby, taking care of the baby, doing a really good job with the baby, and then they just have like a bad week. They can have a bad week, and maybe for about 5 days they just forget to feed the baby. They don't feed the baby nothing for 5 days. What's gonna happen to that baby? What's gonna happen to that baby? The baby will be dead by the end of the week. All right. Now, what if the person was like, no, but my baby can't die. I've been feeding that baby every day for the last 5 years. Can't I get a 5-day break? I only took 5 days off. How can my baby die when I've only been gone for 5 days? Well, because you need to feed the baby every single day. If you don't feed the baby every day, the baby's going to die. Now, your business, it isn't quite the same as a baby, but the analogy is pretty close. The analogy is pretty close. And another analogy with raising a baby is you have some people who are real parents. If you're a parent, raise your hand. Some of you have children, and think about this. How do you think about your children? Your children are always present in your conscious or your subconscious mind. If you have a parent, and if you are a parent and you're really involved with your kids, raise your hand if you are that kind of parent. Your children are always present in mind. Even if they're not with you physically, they're always up here. Even if you're not watching them, you know who's got them. Even if they're not around you, you know where they're at, right? There's never a time for 18 years straight when you don't know where your children are at. Every year, there's 8,760 hours in a year. So it's 87,000 hours in a decade. So over the course of an 18-year period, you've invested about 140,000 hours into raising a child, 140,000 hours of consistent energy toward one sole purpose of getting that child to the age of 18 in one piece. And some of you go beyond 18, right? Childhood doesn't stop, or our children don't stop becoming our kids just because they turned 18, right? Right. So the 140,000 hours you've invested in that one specific goal is really just the beginning. Now, and also Malcolm Gladwell, people like him actually say that it takes about 10,000 hours to become an expert at something. 10,000 hours of consistent effort toward that thing to become an expert at it. So think about this. As a parent to the age of 18, you invest not 10,000 hours, not 20,000, not 30,000, you invest 140,000 hours toward that child. And what happens? You become a genius when it comes to knowing everything about that kid. You are a master of that child. You know what they like to eat. You know their attitudes. You know their mood swings. You know what's going on that day. You see mamas, they be like, your baby went out and murdered 2 people today. They're like, oh, he must have been eating too much sugar. He does that when he eats too much sugar, he goes out and he gets violent, right? I'm playing, but you know what I'm talking about. Mothers know their babies like nobody else, right? Well, you know, your business is kind of your baby. And the thing is that people that are good at business tend to be people that are around their businesses, that are in their business, that are in it with both feet, that are constantly thinking about it, that are constantly working on it. But then you got these other types of parents out here, right? We talk about the one type of parent that gives 140,000 consistent hours toward the sole purpose of raising the child. Then you got those baby makers. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You know, like, oh yeah, like the rapper Future. They said, how many kids you got? He said, I got 6. How many babies mamas? Oh, 6. Right? 6 kids, 6 babies mamas. Right? Got kids all over the place. Ain't really putting no time into them for real. Not really. Right? What kind of parent is that? Well, that's not a good parent, right? He's not a parent. He's a baby making machine, right? He's a person that creates situations but doesn't follow through. He doesn't have that follow through. So when his children get to be about 20, 25, 30 years old and they start to look around and say, well, gosh, why do I have these issues? Why do I have to go see this therapist? They'll be like, oh, it's my daddy. My daddy was never around, right? So he's not gonna have a good relationship with those kids. He's not gonna really understand them. They're not gonna understand him. Some of his kids may hate him, whatever, right? It's not gonna be a good situation, assuming that he's not putting the time. It's in fact, I don't even know how you can put enough, like adequate amount of time into 6 different households. That is huge in terms of money and in terms of time and in terms of emotional energy. I don't know how you do that, right? It's damn near impossible, just mathematically speaking. I'm a mathematician. I'm doing the math. I'm like, okay, 2 + 2 is 12, or 2 + 2 is 4, plus 12 plus 13 divided by 8, that equals failure, right? That's what my logic tells me, right? Well, some people do that in business. Some people are baby makers in business. Some people go and they are constantly generating all these great ideas, and they're having all these great conversations, and they're telling you like, yeah, oh, we should do a business like this, or we should start a business like that, or oh, we could do this, or oh, we could do that, right? And they're just literally, it's like literally, you know, having sex with people, right? They're getting the high. Like when you get a high from having sex, they get a high from having new ideas. Oh yeah, I started a new company like this, I started a new company like that, and I go all around the country, and I can instantly tell the difference between the parents and the baby makers, right? The parents are the ones who say, hey, Dr. Boyce, I've had this business I've been working on for the last 6 years. I've invested, you know, I've worked on this every single day. I've put all my money toward this. I've figured all these things out, and I know this and this and this and this and this. And you can hear them tell you, just spiel off like a mother talking about the child. They can spiel off all these things about their business and the industry, what works, what doesn't work. You can tell they know their stuff, right? But then you got the baby makers, you know, and no disrespect. I mean, all of us have been in that category at some point, right? It's a maturity process, right? And the baby makers are the ones who say, hey, Dr. Boyce, I just want you to know, I came up with this great idea yesterday to start this company that's going to go change the whole Black community. It's going to go conquer the world. We're going to make $1 billion, Dr. Boyce. Right? Well, I'm not going to lie. When I'm thinking about where I want to invest my time, my money, my energy, I'm going to go to the parents. I'm not going to the baby makers, right? So what I'd say to the baby makers is I'd say, that's great. I love it. It's a beautiful idea. It has a lot of potential. Now go out and work on it for 3 years straight and show me that you believe in this idea and that it's well developed, and then maybe we can talk. Once you show me you put in that time, then I'll know that you're serious about this and you're not just making babies. Because ideas are a dime a dozen. Somebody will ask me all the time, they'll be like, so what's a good idea for a business? Is this a good idea? Is that a good idea? I'm like, you know, it don't really matter how good your idea is half the time. What matters is how good is your execution. Because I have a choice between a great idea with poor execution and a mediocre idea with excellent execution. I'm gonna take the mediocre idea every day of the week. It's like the difference between having a raggedy 1998 Toyota that goes 50 miles an hour but still rolls versus having somebody build a Porsche that ain't even got no wheels and an engine. Which is gonna go farther, the Porsche with no wheels and an engine, or the raggedy Toyota that can roll down the street 50 miles an hour? So basically, that consistency concept, it has to apply to everything you do when you do business. You have to pick something you want to do and commit yourself to it. The sooner you can get your job out of the way and start working on your real future, the better off you'll be. Some of you have to think about this. You're being very consistent for your employer. Some of y'all have put thousands of hours. If you work 40 hours a week for 50 weeks a year, get 2 weeks of vacation, that's 2,000 hours a year. If you worked on your job 10 years, you've given them, what, 20,000 hours of your labor. If you've been on 30 years, you give them 60,000 hours. So 60,000 hours of consistent effort. And that's why you know Massa so well. That's why you know exactly what he wants. You know when he wants it. You know what time he needs it. You know how you know all the ins and outs of how to run a business that ain't yours. You know everything there is to know about how to babysit a child that ain't your own, right? That's what. So unfortunately, in the society, they train people like us to become what I call economic babysitters. You become the nanny. You're managing somebody else's business and not really managing your own. You're building somebody else's empire. You're not building your own. Now, it's okay to build somebody else's empire if you're getting something out of it that's long term. If you're getting knowledge and skill that you can eventually apply to build your own, then you should do it. I work for a lot of people. I work for free. I've worked thousands of hours for free supporting somebody else's empire so they would give me an opportunity to eventually have something I could walk away with. But if all you have to walk away with is a paycheck, and it's paycheck to paycheck and there's no long-term benefit, then you might want to reconsider your strategy. So consistency is everything. You must have consistency in order to have a chance to succeed. Now, one of the places I'm streaming live from is the Black Financial Channel. If you are interested in financial topics and you want to be consistently in the know on what's happening with financial news and everything else, go to theblackfinancialchannel.com. That's theblackfinancialchannel.com, and make sure you subscribe. Also, we have other things that you might want to look at in the bookstore. We have books like Powernomics, which is, I think, the first book every Black child should read in America. The second book is actually a Dr. Claude Anderson book called Black Labor, White Wealth. So you don't just learn what you need to learn, you know why you need to learn it and how to apply it. If you want to take a look at some of the books we have, you can go to drboycebooks.com. That's drboycebooks.com. And make sure you hit the thumbs up button, share button, and subscribe button. I'm going to be really quick. If you're on YouTube, please hit that thumbs up button to make sure we're spreading Black economic intelligence throughout the world. Our community must start having different and better conversations. We can't just be talking about, some rappers, babies, mamas, or whatever the hell it is we talk about. So as you talk about rappers having seizures again, yeah, well, that's that's actually an economic conversation shortchange, believe it or not. The rappers having seizures basically means that over time, your health, wealth does not matter if you don't have your health. So it doesn't matter how rich you are, you're going to give all your money away to the pharmaceutical industry anyway at some point, because eventually they're going to put you on medication to help you manage the results of your help you manage the results of your choices up until that point. So that is an economic conversation. It goes very, very deep. Everything relates back to economics. In fact, the quality of life is typically measured by three things: health, wealth, and relationships. Health, wealth, and relationships. So if you don't protect your health, then you're going to die. You're going to die. So it doesn't matter how rich you are. If you don't protect your wealth, you're going to be broke, which is going to affect your health, right? And it's going to affect your relationships. If your relationships aren't good, that affects your mental health. That also affects your wealth. If you marry the wrong person who takes all your money, then you're in big trouble. So if you manage those three key areas, health, wealth, and relationships, then you're starting off pretty good. All right, so hit that thumbs up button, please, and make sure you subscribe to theblackfinancialchannel.com. That's theblackfinancialchannel.com. If you want to buy apparel like this, feel free to go to drboycebooks.com. That's drboycebooks.com. Just look around the store. There's a whole lot of cool stuff in there. And so I'm about to get on out of here because I got to get back to work. So I'll see you guys soon. Have a good night. Be good. Peace.